Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obligations unto you. Narayanam namaskritya naram chevam narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obligations unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadev, the author. Together, Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki. By regular attendance in the classes on Bhagavatam, and by rendering of the service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of God, who is praised with transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my secular obligations unto him. To Srimad Bhagavatam class, we are reading from first canto, chapter 18, and today we have to do verse number 14. Yes, 1-4. Yeah, we have to do 14. The name of the chapter is Maharaj Parikshit cursed by Brahman boy. That is what we are doing, right? So let's read the verse. Today verse is very nectarian. Ko natra parashvat kathyam Mahatmane kanta paranasaya Anantam gunanam anusaya jagmor Yogeshwaraye bhavapada mukheya Ko nama treha tasvat kathayam Mahatme ka kanta parayashaya Nantam gunanam aganasya jagamur Yogeshwaraye bhavapada mukhya Konam triyata rashvat kathayam Mahatmo kanta parayanasya Nantam gunanam anunasya jagmur Yogeshwaraye bhavapadma mukhya. Synonym Kaha. Who is he? Nama. Specifically. Tripayat. Get fully satisfaction. Rasya Vrit. Expert in relishing mellow's nectar. Krathyam. In the topics of Mahatama. The greatest among the living beings. Ekanta. Exclusively. Parayanasya. Of one who is sheltered of. Na. Never. Antam. End. Gunanam. Of attributes. Aghornasya. Of the transcendence. Gumha. Could ascertain. Yoga Ishvara. The Lord of the mystic power. Ye. All they. Bhava. Lord Shiva. Padma. Lord Brahma. Mukheya. Head. Translation. The personality of Godhead Lord Krishna Govinda is exclusive shelter of exclusive shelter for all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully stained by hearing topics about him? Right. So these are some of the very nectarian, right? Like there in some of the verses, Lord qualities and then are mentioned, right? Like this is one of the verse, right? Uh, like in Bhagavatam we have stories also, and in Bhagavatam we have these nectarian verses also, right? Like throughout, like in all the cantos it has uh, so where in the like here it says the personality of Godhead Lord Krishna Govinda. Now why he's called Govinda? What does Govinda means? Rishikesh. What does Govinda means? Yeah, go is cow. There is another meaning of Govinda. Why Krishna is called Govinda? It comes in Gayatri also. Second last. So it has a specific meaning. Like in Gopal Gayatri it comes, right? And why and what we meditate on is Govinda means like who is bended on three bended form. Tribhanga. Like that's why he's called Govinda. Right. So Lord Krishna Govinda is exclusive shelter for all great living beings. Right. So literally meaning means like protector of cows also, but that Govinda, when we say Govinda, that is what like you meditate on. Like he is bended on three folded bended form, Tribhanga form. Like that's what Govinda is uh, form is representing, right? So so the exclusive shelter of all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers, right? Like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, right? So, so transcendental attribute of Govinda cannot be measured, right? So, can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully sustained by hearing topics about him, right? So, this is another glorification of uh, Lord's Nam, Roop, Gun, and Leela, right? Like as much as we hear about Lord, like it is not sufficient, right? Because nectar keeps on increasing, keeps on increasing. Let's read the purport. Like I said, this is a very nectarian purport, right? Like wherein like it keeps on, and it really helps to focus also, right? Like when we chant and then when we do any devotion service, right? For purport, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are two chief of the demigods. They are full of mystic powers. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison, of which one drop was sufficient to kill an ordinary living being. Similarly, Brahma could create many powerful demigods, including Lord Shiva, right? So Lord Shiva, like he, like when the whole Sagar Manthan Leela happened, right? So, so very first thing which came out from that is the halahal or the poison, and that halahal can destroy all living entities. Like, and then Lord Shiva, what he did with his, uh, so he concentrated that poison, all poison he concentrated, right? And then he drank that poison, right? And that's why like Lord Shiva is also called Neelakant, right? So when he drank, right, and then what happened was Parvati put his hand on Lord Shiva's neck so that poison doesn't cannot go inside, because Lord Shiva is also Jagat Pita. If poison goes inside again, still living entities will die. So Parvati stopped here. Like so, so it is said that like that's why he's got the name of Neelkant, right? Like his kant means neck became bluish, right? And that's why snakes are also around that neck, like to make it uh, because snakes are smooth, right? So they are crawling, and also like it is said that like in India, like everywhere, right? Like bel patra, right? And the fruit of the bel, like it is very cold. So that's why that's how you worship Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva has that burning poison in his. But again, just to save all the living entities, right? Similarly, Lord Brahma, like he's the creator, right? of the material world, right? So he also, Lord Shiva himself comes from him. Means like in material world he enters through Lord Brahma. Like so they are Isharas or Lord of the universe, but they are not the supreme powerful. The supreme powerful is Govinda, Lord Krishna. He is the transcendence, and his transcendental attributes cannot be measured even by such powerful Ishwaras as Shiva and Brahma. So Brahma and Shiva also, they cannot measure the full potency of the Lord, right? Therefore, Lord Krishna is the exclusive shelter of the greatest of the all living being. Right? So it is described that like one incident comes in Krishna Lila when Krishna was in Dwarka. Um, One time, like he was looking in the floor, and floor was so shiny that you can see the reflection. And Krishna saw his own reflection, and Krishna said, "Wow, who is this person?" He's so beautiful, and then you cannot even measure. Like he himself cannot fathom. Like he's so much beautiful. Like because it's that beauties keep on increasing, right? Similarly, like because like how here Prabhupada writes, right? And in the purport also it comes, right? Like the uh, Lord Brahma and Shiva also, they cannot measure the transcendental potency of the Lord, right? It is so much. So Brahma is counted amongst the living being, but he is the greatest of all of us. And why is the greatest of all living beings so much attracted to the transcendental topic of Lord Krishna? He is greatest because not that he is the first living being. He is greatest because he is attracted to the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna, because he is the reservoir of all enjoyer, Krishna. Everyone wants to relish some kinds of taste in everything, but one who is engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord can derive unlimited pleasure from such engagement, right? Everybody wants some kind of love or engagement, right? But he but everyone, but anyone who is engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord can drive unlimited pleasure for such engagement. We want to drive unlimited pleasure, so engage in loving service of the Lord. The Lord is unlimited, and His name, attribute, pastime, entourage, virgidness, etc. are unlimited, and those who are relish them can do so unlimited and still not feel satisfied. This fact is confirmed in Padma Purana. रमन्ते योगनोनन्ते सत्यानन्दा चित् आत्मनि ite ramapadenesho param brahma bhushyate. The mystic drive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth. Therefore, the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama, right? So Rama is supreme, like it gives us supreme pleasure, right? So one time, I'm remembering one thing, like from one of the lecture I heard. One reporter asked Prabhupada, like you guys, do you do any recreational activity, right? Like Prabhupada said, we only do recreational activity, right? Chanting, dancing, and eating, right? So these are all recreational, right? So and again, the thing is like how I was saying, the Lord is unlimited. His name, attribute, pastime, entourage, and virgidness, etc. are unlimited, and those who relish them can do so unlimited and still not feel satisfied. So they are relishing the Lord and still they are not satisfied, right? That's why when we chant, right? When we start developing the taste in chanting, right? We want to chant more, right? Or let's say when we, there are so many things in devotion service, right? That is the beauty of it, right? That's not the only thing, right? Let's say if you enjoy doing deity worship and you do more deity worship, right? Uh, then still you are not satisfied. You want to do more. Like some people, they relish in doing kirtan, right? So they want to do more. Some devotees, they got they can cooking for the Lord, so they want to do more, right? So whatever you do, you still, because Lord is unlimited, right? So there is not only one way you can satisfy the Lord. There are so many ways you can satisfy the Lord, right? Because Lord is unlimited and He can accept unlimited services, right? uh, There is the mystic drive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth. Therefore, the supreme absolute truth, the personality of God, is also known as Rama, right? There is no end to such transcendental discourses. In mundane affairs, there is a law of satisfaction, but in the transcendental, there is no such cessation. This is
Satiation. Satiation means like filled.
filled,
Satiated means something's like filled.
already
completely.
filled.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a little different than satisfied.
Yes,
It's,
yes.
it's similar, but it's a little slightly different.
So let me read it again. Thank you, Prabhu. There is no end to such transcendental discourse. In mundane affairs, there is a law of cessation. Basically, like when you are fully occupied, your glass is already full, right? But in the transcendence, there is no such cessation. Basically, you're fully absorbed in Krishna. Your heart is fully absorbed, but still there is lot of room, right? So it is like very difficult to understand from the mundane affairs, right? Like often that example is given, right? Like if your glass is full, you cannot fill up more, right? But in transcendental things, like it is that like that glass is also unlimited, right? Like because Krishna is unlimited, like there's so that's why like from time immemorial, right? Actually there's no time in spiritual world, but just from the mundane perspective, like there are gopis and other associates of the Lord who are serving the Lord, right? It is said that if you have seen that one universe diagram, right, of the ISKCON famous, right, there's Ananta Dev in the below of all the creation, right, who is uh, on his hood he has the planets like a mustard seed, like planets are like mustard seed, he's so big, right? And it is said that from the beginning itself, yeah, he's trying to glorify the Lord, and still he is not finished, right? It is another quote which is given is like what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do in one day, nobody can describe. Just one day, what he all the activities, transcendental activity do, nobody can describe, right? So because Lord do so many things at the same point of time, right? Like so it is very difficult to understand, but at the same time, like we can relish his pastimes. That's why that is the reason why, if you think about it, every year when Ram Navami comes or Narsima Chaturthi come or Janmashtami come, right, we read the same pastime of the Lord, but every year there is like what do you call it? I'm just giving a mundane example of onion, right? Like there are layers, you keep on unfolding it, right? So it is like that, like things like as and when like every year when you keep on hearing more Krishna katha, it is becoming more and more relishing, and it is revealing also lot of attributes start coming, right? So I do remember like, yesterday when we were in the Ram Navami, right? Like I was hearing one class like in the morning, very nicely, like it was said that Ramayan uh, or Ram Katha, it's not for the like there are a lot of up and down in the Ram Katha, right? Like there's a lot of crime in the Ram Katha. It's not for everyone there because a lot of emotion goes inside it, right? It's not the book of happiness, but it is book of satisfaction because it tells you about Maryada or the like what is the right thing to do, and most of the time doing the right thing is very difficult, right? So so it is that's why it is called book of satisfaction, but you will be satisfied in the end. Like when you do the right thing, you might not be happy, right, but you will be satisfied, like that you did the correct thing, right? There's so many stories, right, in scriptures that come, right, wherein uh, King Ranti Dev and all that, right, like where he gave all his food uh, like for the satisfaction of the being. So he's not happy, but at the same time he's satisfied, right? He's satisfied because he did the right thing, right? So many stories come like in Bhagavatam, right? It's filled with, right, where people took the difficult decision, right, giving a lot of trouble to themselves, not to the others, but at the end, but they are satisfied doing it, right? So but in Krishna, so it is very important. Like I just that analogy just came in my mind, right? So Sutta Goswami desires to continue the topic of Lord Krishna before the sages of Nainisharna, and the sages also express their readiness to hear from him continuously. Since the Lord is transcendence and his attributes are transcendental, such discourses increase the prospective moods of the purified audience. Right? So the Lord is unlimited, his pastimes are unlimited, right? That is the whole reason why, right? Like satsang is done, right? So that in association of devotees, we hear the glorification of the Lord, right? Other day also, uh, I was quoting that, like from one of the lecture, right? Like Shubh Vilas Prabhu was saying, if you come to a satsang or to a discourse, right? But if at least one thing doesn't hit you, means like hit your consciousness, so there is you didn't get a lot out of it. Like you should take a one takeaway point to improve on it, right? And there are and all the Christian kathas, they are very purifying to the heart, right? And that is the reason why, like especially Srimad Bhagavatam, right? It is a Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, that how you should reach Bhagavatam every day, read or hear Bhagavatam every day, because slowly and slowly, uh, the dust which is accumulated in the heart, it keeps on taking it out slowly and slowly without knowing, right? Like it is very important, right? Like to do the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, right? Because that's how, when metal comes in contact with the water, slowly and slowly water keeps on dusting the metal. If metal is not coated and it's inside the water or is in touch of the water, right? Even wood also, right? If it is not coated, right? If wood, on hardwood, like if you have water, slowly and slowly it starts taking, wood is very hard and water is very soft, but it makes the wood also soft slowly and slowly, right? Similarly, transcendental topics of Lord Krishna, right? uh, I do remember that, like in 2019, when I went for Kartik Yatra, right? So in one of the day, Maharaj was describing about Kaliya pastime. Like if you ask me describe Kaliya pastime, I will finish in 5-10 minutes. What happened, right? Or maybe 15 minutes if I go. And that class was for 2.5 hours, right? So again, like it is like when you hear from the mouth of pure devotees, right? Like all the ISKCON gurus, like they're all pure devotees. Like if you hear like katha, like they actually take you inside the katha itself, right? That each and every scene, like how a director have each and every scene, like how was the tree, how the wind was blowing, and all that, right? Each and every, and the thing is, if you think about it more and more, you get advanced, uh, you'll start relishing each and every part of that katha, right? Uh, and at that time I understood, like how neophyte I am, right? Same pastime, when a pure devotee is describing, he is describing in such an elaborate way, right? Same pastime, like takeaway for me is like just a 5 minutes from that, 5 or 10 minutes from that, right? And again, like it's all about consciousness, right? So, and that is the reason why it is always encouraged, like whenever you get to hear either a Vani or Vapu from a pure devotee, please do hear that, right? Because by your own power, yet you cannot be there, but with their power, you can be there in that pastime, right? Srila Prabhupada often quotes that, like all the pictures, right, especially in the ISKCON where you see, right, they are all windows for the spiritual world. When you see those pictures, right, they are actually taking you, and there is so much it went through, right? Jadugarni Mataji, and then there's this whole team, right, like which created those pictures, especially those a lot of them are in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, right? And then it comes Bhagavad Gita also, right? All those pictures are not just uh, like Prabhupada diligently verified each and every picture, right? Like, so they are right according to Shastra, because they are actually because why? Like if why you think like when you see something like a video, right? Why it makes impact on you is because there is a sound vibration which is very potent, right? Also the screen which is coming, right? The picture, it is also getting registered in your brain, right? So if there is a film or a movie, right, why it hits you is because emotion is involved, as well as your visual, your subtle, not subtle, I would say, there are two parts of the brain, right? Like So subtle is the memory, right? Like which sustain, which actually it is going to absorb, right? But the other part of the brain, which is getting trained, which is inputting the data, right? That is directly getting hit when you see something visual. That's why there's so much impact, right? If you think about it, like when they make movies on sports or patriotic movies, right? They play a trumpet or in the back, like a music is going on, which creates the feeling inside you, right? Like nationalism, for your nation and all that, right? So there is a lot of impact with that. Similarly, when you see a picture, right? Pictures also make a lot of impact, right? Like if you closely watch the picture, actually it can purify you. That picture itself can purify you. Like the I do remember there is a very famous picture. What is that picture name? The last picture of Jadugarni Mataji. Keeping my head, like where gopis are there, and then there is a very famous picture uh, which Jadugarni Mataji painted. Skipping my head. I know one time Vishwanu Prabhu and me were discussing. So uh, Jai Jai Giriraj. So the idea is we should surround ourselves like from the devotees, and if and then as much as Christian Katha we can hear, we should do that, right? Because the Christian Katha, like if you remember a couple of verses back, also we discussed about it, right? Bhagavatam, right? It's not a it's like it's on a spiritual platform. Whenever you read Bhagavatam or you hear Christian Katha, right? Like here also in the purport it comes, right? Very important thing, last line. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar rasa ever be fully satisfied by hearing topics about him? Means like the more and more you hear about Krishna, more you want to hear. Like topic about that's why if you see uh, like how we discussed, right? Like the more we hear Krishna Katha, right? We want to keep on hearing it more, keep on hearing more. Though it is the same pastime. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also it comes, right? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit were reading about Prahlad pastime. So they read the whole Prahlad pastime 100 times. So much so that, and then they were crying. The pages on the because on the palm leaf, with their crying, that whole page itself became white. Like the even text was also gone. They but and why so? Because they were relishing the pastime, relishing so much, relishing the pastime, right? So it is said that Bhagavatam, when you read first time, you get some benefit. When you read second time, you understand more. When you read third time, you start understanding more. The more you read, the more you will start relishing the Bhagavatam of the scriptures, right? Because your consciousness keep on increasing, keep on increasing, keep on increasing, right? So it is very important. So when we read, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, right? These are, though I am speaking, but actually I am not speaking. Basically, these are the words of Srila Prabhupada. I am just repeating his words, right? So so the main thing is words are very important, like they are very potent, right? So it is like same thing, like somebody has wrote a letter and somebody is reading, so you will credit to the person who is reading or person who is writing the letter, right? The person who is writing. Similarly, like the purport of Srila Prabhupada, they're all transcendental. That's why we hear, right? Like in when Srila Prabhupada asked his disciples to read his purport, that's why and when his disciples say, Prabhupada, you only wrote it. Prabhupada said, I didn't wrote it. Krishna uh, made me to wrote all these, right? So Prabhupada also used to relish, especially like there is example given of Krishna book, right? When anybody reads the Krishna book, right? Prabhupada asks him to read more and more. Again, Prabhupada is relishing, right? Because all the pastime of the Lord are transcendental. They are not on this mundane platform. They are on a transcendental platform, right? So it is very important, right, to uh, as much as you can do hearing, it is very important, right? Because first of all, it engage your senses when you do hear, right? If your ear is engaged, right, other senses will also be engaged slowly and slowly, right? Like any work, like maybe like hearing is also described in two categories. One is attentive hearing and one is distractive hearing, right? Where you are doing work. Do both, Vaitum is that destructive hearing also. Basically, like when you, whatever other work you are doing, monotonous work you are doing, you can play a lecture, right? But don't consider in your constructive hearing or attentive hearing. Like have some time for attentive hearing also, and have some, and then most of the time you can play the lecture or kirtan, like whatever you like, right? Because both will purify you or consciousness, right? Any question or comments?
I just want to say, look
Yes.
up. Satiated, just to like give a more clear definition. And so satisfied means you're pleased with something. Satiated means you're fully satisfied. So devotees are satisfied reading, but they're not fully satisfied. So because if we say they're not satisfied, then it's like it's not pleasing to them. So satiated means like you're fully satisfied. It's like you're saying, like you have a glass that's you filled. The glass is still being full, but you could fill it more and more and more, where it can never be fully, satiated. So just wanted to clarify that. So Prabhupada just picks such the perfect words. Satiated is perfect because it means that fully satisfied. So it's never filled.
Yeah, I was reading in one of the classes. In Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, there's so many words. Like if you just read those, like your English vocabulary will increase. Lot of words are there, like which Prabhupada use, and then his disciples also help him, right? Like editing, right? Like very very nicely done. Any other questions? Oh, looks like there is one. Yes, I think it is Kunja Kirtan. Yes. Yes, Kunja Kirtan. This is very famous painting. Yeah, this is the last painting like they did. I think they Jadugarni Mataji, like
What? Oh, Jadavani. Oh.
any other comments or yeah, Namakirti also put that. Kunja Kirtan was the last painting. Yes. Mhm. So Ritik Guru is asking like if there is no attraction for hearing, how we can cultivate it, right? So Prabhupada gave that formula, right? Fake it to make it. Means try to listen, right? Like more and more. Uh, what Lady said that like maybe try to listen multiple lectures. Maybe one lecture, like maybe at the start, right? You don't know the taste. Let's say, for example, I'm just giving a mundane example, right? Let's say ice cream, right? How do you know which flavor you like? Taste different flavor, right? Then only you know like which flavor you like, right? So that is the beauty of Krishna Katha, right? There's so much variety in it, right? So many, right? Like some devotees like Lord Narasimha Dev's pastime, some devotees like Krishna pastime also there are a lot of variation, right? There are five mellows, like there are pastimes in those five mellows, right? Some devotees like Ram Katha, right? So you have to read different, and then there is also like whoever is giving that, their mood also depends upon like who you are hearing to, right? So keep hearing, and then taste will come automatically.
One of the things Prabhupada says that the Bhagavatam becomes more luminous with each reading. So that means luminous means you're able to see it and experience it, which means even if you start at the level of no illumination, every time you read, it gets a little more and more luminous. So it becomes more, like he was saying before, the more you read, the more you start to actually, like the onion peeling off the layers. So Prabhupada said it becomes more and more luminous. Because also you don't want people to do the thing where they jump to Rasa Leela. It's like, well, I don't like the first canto, but I love the 10th canto. They want to start with the first, and then even though it can be a little difficult, if you schedule time every day and just say, I'm just going to read, and as you read, Prabhupada says it becomes more luminous.
Think about it, like when Shrimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, right? Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukdev Goswami, what is the most important thing a person needs to know before if he is going to die in 7 days? Right? If 10th canto is very, very important, right? But Sukdev Goswami also started from first canto and then took Parikshit Maharaj to 10th canto. Right? If you are directly jumping, like to Nanda's Prabhu's example, to 10th canto, it means you are indirectly saying you know better than Sukdev Goswami. Right? Like you are not in hurry, then like Parikshit Maharaj was in hurry. Right? He's about to die in 7 days, right? So just go gradual. Like what that's how the book is written. Like you have to go from first canto and then proceed towards 10th canto, right? And 10th canto has 4 books. Like it's the biggest one. Like out of all 12 cantos, like 12th canto, 10th canto is the biggest one. It takes a lot of time, right, to read it. Like 10th canto itself.
Yeah, there's what, 80, there's like 80,
90 something,
90
right?
something.
90 chapters or something. There are 4 books. This is thick.
And some of the cantos only have like 10 chapters.
Yeah. So it is quite elaborate. Uh, mhm. Mhm. Yeah. You can read Krishna book. Prabhupada recommends like read Krishna book before going to the bed. Take a hot milk and read Krishna book, and then you will get dreams of Krishna. If think about it, if that was the case, because before even Shrimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada actually wrote Krishna book. Because he was not sure, right, how many years he will live. Because and then he wants to give something to the world, and it's a concise. It's this thick, but in that there is no verse or anything. It's all Krishna Katha, right? Condensed down Krishna Katha.
Yeah, the good thing about Krishna book is that, because like you said, he thought he wasn't sure if he would be around long enough to translate the 10th canto, and he knew people would misunderstand it if it wasn't translated properly. So he built the philosophy into the Krishna book. So you'll notice like there would be it's like the autumn season, for example. The autumn season is very beautiful in Krishna, blah, blah. And by the way, the living entities are suffering in this material world. You know, like the next paragraph would be like so much philosophy, then back to the story. Then so he made it so that you can't read it and just do the thing that people do, like professional reciters, and you get in crying and stuff. It really makes sure that the philosophy is really built into it. So it's that's why it's safe to read. But it is true. Like when I started reading Krishna book, there was one chapter I got to where I was like, I'm gonna wait till later on this one, you know. So I still was like really trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, first canto of Bhagavatam. So it's okay. It's not like you're not allowed to read Krishna book, but if you get to a point where like I really just don't understand this, then stick with, you know, you could hold off on even that chapter and go to another chapter, or, you know, go back to the, because even in the first canto, there's rasa. You know, when Bhishma is on the bed of arrows, there's a whole rasa exchange. It's like his love for Krishna, and he wanted to see him as a warrior, and the dust on Krishna's body is like, there's rasa in the first canto. But people want to jump to romance, you know, so that's why they bring it down to the mundane platform. So that's why it's recommended you go through this first. You got to learn, you got to know who Krishna is first to understand what's going on in it.
But you can read Krishna book. Don't worry. Krishna book is yeah. You can read. Yes. Any other question or comments? Not. I like to end here. Vanchakalpataruvasya kripa sindhu devacha patitanam pavan कोटि वैश्विक की जय।